stories in the world right now with what's going on with Deshaun Watson and everything else. And being that he's a Clemson guy, he's well thought of around here. So I've got some comments from one of these accusers, and let's make sure we give you the full everything that's going on with that. And by the way, I'll have this up on the blog page at foxsportsradio1400.com. You can go and check that out here shortly. But the big thing with this is that some of the comments from this accuser, she sounds, says she's not afraid anymore. But I'm going to play you a couple of her comments, and then we'll go from there. But the accuser's name, make sure we get it. She was Jane Doe 1, but since she's publicly coming out, her name is Ashley Solis. Ashley Solis is the first accuser that came out with the allegations against Deshaun Watson. We'll play some of the clips here now from the press conference that just wrapped up a few minutes ago. This is Ashley Solis with her thoughts on what happened with her and Deshaun Watson.
I am a survivor of assault and harassment. Deshaun Watson is my assaulter and my harasser. Deshaun Watson assaulted and harassed me on March 30th, 2020, in my own home, doing what I love most, massage therapy. I no longer practice the profession that I love the most without shaking during the session. My hands shake whenever I place them on a client, and I've had to cut sessions short. If you only knew how heartbreaking that is to me. I got into massage therapy to heal people. To heal their minds and bodies, to bring peace to their souls. Deshaun Watson has robbed me of that. He took that away from me. He tainted a profession in which I take enormous pride. Flashes of Watson's face rush to me in the moment. I think of his Venus touching me, which sends me into a tailspin. I suffer from panic attacks, anxiety, and depression. I'm in counseling as a result of Deshaun Watson's actions. I hope he knows how much pain he's inflicted on me emotionally and physically. And I hope he knows how much pain he has inflicted on these other survivors.
All right, so this is the first time everything we've heard from here at the beginning was Jane Doe 1, Jane Doe 2, Jane Doe 3, et cetera, up to Jane Doe, 25, however many it is now, 22, something like that. And now we've actually got a voice behind it. And it's just sad. That's pretty much the only way that you can look at it, is that it's just sad. That's what you hear. She also said that her dad is a Houston Texans fan, and now they can't talk about the Texans without just being disgusted. She's the first one to come out. I wonder if there's going to be more. She did say she's not afraid anymore. I'm here to take back the power and take back control. I'm a survivor of assault and harassment. She says she suffered depression and anxiety and panic attacks since the encounter with Watson. She also talked about her dad being a Texans fan, obviously. The attorney said that Solis has spoken with the Houston Police Department about Watson and has at least one other person, though no charges have been filed. So I posted something yesterday on my blog page at foxsportsradio1400.com talking about the trade market for Deshaun Watson, which right now is non-existent. I mean, the Carolina Panthers moved all these guys around to get Deshaun Watson. There was talk behind the scenes they would trade Christian McCaffrey, the all-world running back, to get Deshaun Watson. Yesterday, I posted the trade market is dead. Today, it's just from that press conference today and that 90, almost 2 minutes of audio that I played you there. When you see that, it's almost a burying of Deshaun Watson. And I know it sounds like we need to hear his side of the story, and I agree on that. But the optics of what we have right now are very simple. We have all of these people coming out and accusing Deshaun Watson of something. And the only response we've got from Deshaun Watson is something on Twitter. Now, I understand that, his attorneys may have him not speaking, and I get that. But if you're not speaking, it kind of makes you, and the only thing we are getting is stuff like this. Wow. Just sad. So we'll take calls on the Deshaun Watson saga because that's what it is. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to call. If you'd like to join us here on the rundown this afternoon, right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. Does this change your opinion of Deshaun Watson? Because I'm going to be honest, the majority of the people yesterday were basically talking about Houston got what they wanted. I'm quoting what was taken from my blog post and stuff that was posted on Facebook and Twitter. There were people that were saying Houston got what they wanted. Deshaun Watson's not going anywhere now, and that's exactly what Houston wanted. I'm not necessarily buying that. I think it's a very tinfoil hat theory kind of thing. I don't think that the Houston people got together and said, you know what, we're going to keep Deshaun Watson here. I just don't think that. But that's the way a lot of people are thinking right now. And that, my friends, is sad. Does your opinion of Deshaun Watson change now after what we've heard today? Yes, I know we haven't heard his side of the story yet. I get that. But if the only thing we're going to get is, and you know what? I don't want to hear from his attorney. I want to hear from him. I don't care what his attorney thinks. If Deshaun Watson didn't do anything, he should have a press conference right now. At least have the soundbite out there to counteract the soundbite that's here. Because what I've got in front of me is a very small woman, and I'm posting the video up on my blog page here just shortly. And we have a voice of a very small, frightened woman. That's what we've got. Someone who says that her career has been taken away from her by Deshaun Watson. Jeffrey online makes a good point. What's Deshaun Watson going to say? I didn't do it. All these people are lying at this point. There's nothing he can say. He's toast in today's times. Yeah, I'm with you on that, and I get what Jeffrey is saying. But I'm just saying from the point of public opinion, we need to see something from Deshaun Watson. Where are you, Deshaun? Come off the Facebook, come off the Twitter a little bit. You call a press conference, everybody and their brother will be there. This is not that complicated. Because right now, as someone from the outside looking in, because I'm not in Houston, I'm seeing more and more from the accusers. Now I've got the voice of an accuser, not an attorney. The voice of an accuser, one that's saying this thing's happened to her. Got to have something. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if your opinion has changed on Deshaun Watson via that press conference. There are some people, I've seen some of the Twitter posts on some of the folks that have posted some of these things. Wow. They are, there's some folks that are turning that way. Now, I'm not saying that we should throw him out the window here, but are you starting to think maybe there's something there? 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Kingslayer Online says, if this isn't true, it won't even be funny how relieved he'll be. Jonathan says the simple fact, if I was Deshaun's lawyer, I'd be inclined to have him keep quiet. It's called the Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Yeah, I understand that. You have the right to remain silent, but when you have just the visual of this woman and what she said, either something happened or she's a heck of an actress because she draws you in quick there. Now, once again, I was not in the room with them. She said it happened at her house. He came to her house for a massage and things went awry. But it's, man, just not a good look. 803-978-1832. Your thoughts on Deshaun Watson today. We'll also talk about the trade yesterday that essentially, in my opinion, killed the Deshaun Watson trade market. The Carolina Panthers making a move where they trade with the New York Jets to get Sam Darnold as their quarterback. Yeah. Be sure to check that out. We'll talk about that in a moment. And what the Panthers gave up. Did they give up too much? Did the Jets give up on a guy that possibly could be a guy that may shine for the Panthers? And what are the Panthers going to do with Teddy Bridgewater? There's already talk about one thing they're going to let him do. But they're also, with what they're going to let him do, they're basically saying Darnold's the man. So we'll talk about that when we come back. We've also got some other little notes that we'll throw out there today. The Masters gets underway this week. Who are you picking to win the Masters? It's going to be different because we had the Masters in the fall, but now we're going to have the Masters in its traditional time. So we'll see. It's going to be fun watching that this weekend. And of course, we got some WWE stuff we'll get into as well. 803-978-1832. Nick says she seems pretty darn believable. I'm just saying. I mean, we'll play it again when we come back in case you missed it. But, yeah, the accuser comes off like something really bad happened there. We'll take your calls when we come back. 803-978-1832. This is The Rundown. You're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400. I'm fixing to post this on my blog, guys, and this is what a mess, man. You know what? I kind of agree with you on that, Kingslayer. You're right, man. It's not the craziest. You're right about that. Man, she looks believable, though, doesn't she? My goodness. Yeah. You know what? And he seems like he's so, I don't know. It was, he seems like he's just so poised all the time, but Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that too, man, because that's not oof, just sad, man. The whole situation's sad. That's a fair thing to say too, you know. I'm trying to get this up on my blog page, man, because it's I want to have it all up there so people can go grab it. But it's uh it's crazy the way things have shaken out like that. Welcome back to the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeart Radio app. My name is Rob Sanders. The big story today: the first woman comes out that was Jane Doe 1 against Deshaun Watson. The allegations that he committed sexual assault against them. Her name is Ashley Solis. I'm going to play the clip from her one more time for the folks that missed it. This is from a press conference earlier today in Houston.
I am a survivor of assault and harassment. Deshaun Watson is my assaulter and my harasser. Deshaun Watson assaulted and harassed me on March 30th, 2020, in my own home, doing what I love most, massage therapy. I no longer practice the profession that I love the most without shaking during the session. My hands shake whenever I place them on a client, and I've had to cut the session short. If you only knew how heartbreaking that is to me. I got into massage therapy to heal people. To heal their minds and bodies. To bring peace to their souls. Deshaun Watson has robbed me of that. He took that away from me. He tainted a profession in which I take enormous pride. Flashes of Watson's face rush to me in the moment. I think of his penis touching me, which sends me into a tailspin. I suffer from panic attacks, anxiety, and depression. I'm in counseling as a result of Deshaun Watson's actions. I hope he knows how much pain he's inflicted on me emotionally and physically. And I hope he knows how much pain he has inflicted on these other survivors.
Ashley Solis this afternoon in Houston, the first accuser from Deshaun Watson's list of folks that have filed cases against him claiming sexual assault. So the big thing with that is, does that change your opinion? Because right off the bat, when you just see that, it's just like, ugh. Now I want to go and see. I want more from what Deshaun Watson has to say. That's a big deal too. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call. If you'd like to join us here on the rundown this afternoon, right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. If your opinion has changed about Deshaun Watson, or if you're going to want to defend Deshaun Watson, we'll take those calls as well. 803-978-1832. Look, we got to look at the trade with the Texans. And not the Texans. I'm thinking that my brain's whacked today. The trade with the Panthers. Of course, you've got the folks from the Panthers, and they made that trade yesterday. And I tell you what, man, it killed the market for Deshaun Watson, but the Panthers made a jump here. It says point blank, they don't want people to think they're just going to settle for what Teddy Bridgewater brought them. And, you know, they didn't really, when you really stop and look at it, yeah, they jumped, but it wasn't that big of a jump, to be honest with you. So the Jets get for Sam Darnold, who was basically their franchise quarterback. He was a guy that was the number 3 pick in the 2018 draft. The Jets get the 2021 6th round pick, a 2022 2nd round pick, and a 2022 4th round pick. So basically 1 pick from this year's draft and 2 picks from next year's draft. So there's that. I mean, that's interesting. One of the cool things for Darnold, he's reunited with former Jets wide receiver Robbie Anderson. He finished his career with the Jets with 8,097 yards, 45 touchdowns, 39 picks, and a 78.6 QB rating. It is interesting, too. The Jets will play at the Panthers this season. So you're going to get to see some of that there. That's going to be interesting, too. But your thoughts on that trade? You know, did the Panthers give up too much? You can make the argument that maybe they're reaching a little bit. But when you think about it, if you could possibly get a guy that at one point they really liked up there with the Jets, you can get this guy for, 3 picks, none of them in the first round. I'd say that's pretty good. Kingslayer says the Jets have to take Zach Wilson now or Justin Fields. Yeah, well, it's open now. And by the way, the latest from the Atlanta Falcons, yes, the Atlanta Falcons are supposedly in the mix to move their pick, number 4 overall. After the first 3 quarterbacks, I think it's kind of the Atlanta Falcons need a lot, so why not trade down and get extra picks here and there? The draft is going to be very, very interesting this year. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 if you want to join us here on the Rundown this afternoon. If you want to talk about the stuff with Deshaun Watson with Ashley Solis, who is the first accuser that has come out, we would love to take your calls on that. We've also can talk about the trade. We could talk about the Braves, who I don't know what the line is on the Braves today, but if I were a betting man, I would bet on the Braves big time. The Nats have 10 guys that are going on the COVID list, injured list, whatever. They can't play. They're essentially rolling out the biggest patchwork lineup ever. The Atlanta Braves don't get at least 1 win in the doubleheader today. I'd be stunned. I would be stunned. 803-978-1832 if you want to talk about any of that this afternoon here on the Rundown, right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. We've also got an interesting thing last night. The Baylor Bears, I say interesting, they win the national title. And one poll has one SEC team as their preseason number 1 for next season. Yeah, wait till you hear this. We'll talk about that when we come back here on the Rundown. I kind of was like, huh? And by the way, you got to give a shout out to Baylor, man, because everything was about Gonzaga. Gonzaga was a huge favorite. Huge favorite. Then not so much. Out to the phones we go. And welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, is this Rob?
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
Hey, so I was listening to you on the Deshaun Watson thing,
Sure.
and it took me a minute that I had to think about what you were saying. So this lady is making this claim, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she sounds so dramatic, like it's almost like saying I'm so involved in something that I can't imagine being disappointed by somebody not treating me right. And a lot of people get this, right? But he did. Look, if he did something illegal, let's just say if he went in there and he molested her, did something, he deserves to be put where he needs to be put, right?
Right.
And I agree with that 100%. But it seems like these people are sitting there and they're just so triggered on any impetus that takes them there. That's all. I'll just point it out. It's kind of annoying, to be honest, because everybody does I say everybody. These accusers tend to do this all the time. They jump to conclusions. They make their own mind up, and then the person's guilty. And it's their choice to go down that road. Now, I'm not saying he's perfect. He shouldn't have been there at all. But
Well,
my point
I
is,
think that, and I've said this before, and just a quick point here. And I don't mean to interrupt you, but he's on record of there's 22 people that claim that he did something to them. He has 18 that have come out and said that he hasn't. That means that there's at least, in theory, 40 different massage therapists that have done stuff with Deshaun Watson. I'm in the camp of how many massage therapists do you need? That kind of looks awkward in its own right.
No, I'm on that. I'm totally on that one too.
Right.
I think it's ridiculous. I honestly do. But at the same time, he's not a criminal, and he isn't some guy out there stalking somebody in the dark and trying to attack them. But it's weird. It's very bizarre, to be honest. I don't understand it either, and I won't defend that. I don't. But at the same time, I think it's going way now. The pendulum swings the other way too much. Right.
Right.
That's all. Anyway, I'll let you roll. I just had to call it because it gets me a little annoyed. I think sometimes we overdo it, and I get why, because sometimes it creates a buzz and people need to talk. But at the same time, it's not right. It's not right to go overboard, and it's also not right for what he did either. So take it down that road.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks.
Well, hey, thank you. Bye.
All right, there you go. There's one thought on Deshaun Watson. Of course, we'll take your calls at 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Quick break. We come back. We'll have more for you on the rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Understand, folks that are watching over there online, I'm not trying to bury Deshaun Watson today. I'm just bringing both sides of what we have. The only thing I have from Deshaun Watson is his Twitter statement. That's pretty much it. I'm just saying. What a mess, man. I don't think I've been out there and been like, and I appreciate that, Jonathan, but I haven't been. I do think that I've tried to be reasonable, but I also think that we should get something else from Deshaun Watson by now. I know that if it were me and I hadn't done anything, I'd be holding press conferences across the street. That woman's a liar. She's lying. The attorney's lying. I'd point them out. If I had done nothing, that's what I would be doing. But it's tough, man. Appreciate you guys checking out the program today, man. We do this every day for those who aren't normally here. I'm laughing because I picked Illinois there, Kingslayer. What is wrong with me? Welcome back to the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Rob Sanders. Shout out to the folks watching on Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff over there. Some great comments over there too. We'll read some of these in just a moment. I want to make sure we put out there. I'm not trying to throw Deshaun Watson under the bus. I've given you his statement of what he has said. The one statement that we know is directly from him. There's been a statement from his attorney, but on this front, I look at it from this perspective. If I have something else that's come out, we have to talk about it here. That's just the way that it is. And I assure you, once Deshaun Watson speaks up again, I will have plenty of that for you right here on the rundown. We want to get the whole story. That's kind of the big thing. Shout out to Huffer Billy Paul watching today. We appreciate him. 803-978-1832 if you want to talk about that. Also, I've got to get this out today. The Washington Post put out their postseason pre-top 20. This is like an hour after Baylor won the national title, which, by the way, they dominated that game. We all were thinking, oh, Gonzaga this and Gonzaga that, and Gonzaga's the big, they're the story, man. They hit that 3-point shot to take them into the championship game. They've got a couple of NBA players. Mark Few is finally going to do it. And what does Baylor do? They beat them like they stole something. That's basically what happened last night. They went out, they had like a 19-point lead, and they coasted to a national title. And a lot of what we got today was, oh, Gonzaga this and Gonzaga that. No. Let's make sure we give Baylor credit. They beat them stupid. And someone needs to, I'm not saying that, he should be going on his merry way, but if Coach Few can't win with that team, is he ever going to win at Gonzaga and win the whole thing? He's got, 2 NBA guys at least on that team? All upperclassmen and everything else? And what happened? Just saying. Anyway, the Washington Post put out their postseason pre-top 25, whatever it is you want to call it. And they've got an SEC program right up at the very top. Alabama. Ladies and gentlemen, the Alabama football fans are outstanding. They will tell you that they've won however many national titles that they've won. They'll tell you they're the greatest football program ever. They'll be happy to give you that. But now, if they have basketball too, they will be hard to live with. This is what the Washington Post says about the Crimson Tide. The Crimson Tide put a marker this year down on how it intends to play moving forward. Lots of three-pointers, a fast-paced and stingy defense. Do John Petty Jr. and Herbert Jones come back for another run? What impact does top 10 freshman J.D. Davidson have in a backcourt with holdovers Javon Quinterly and Jaden Shackelford? At this point, Alabama might be in line to have more answers than anybody. Man, if you are a Kentucky fan, after your team went 9-16 this year, you're looking at John Calipari like he went from being the prom queen to a dumpster diver in a matter of seconds. As you watch Alabama, a team that's going to beat you senseless in football every year, now, according to the Washington Post, they are the number 1 team in basketball heading into next season. Wow. I was kind of stunned when I read that last night. Some of the other teams, they've got Gonzaga at number 2, Michigan at number 3. That's an interesting pick with Coach Juwan Howard. He brings back a talented class. Villanova's at number 4. Purdue is at number 5. And then we roll on from there. Florida State's at 8, which Leonard Hamilton just plugs in long, tall, athletic guys and teaches them to run the floor. And they're very, very good at that. They've got Baylor, the defending national champion, at number 9. And then we go from there. One of the interesting things is that they had Georgia Tech as one of the teams that was right there, almost in the top 25, but not quite. Man, if you are a Clemson basketball fan and you see what Georgia Tech has done, that just kind of hurts your heart a little bit. And you think, man, Brad Brownell's been there. They put the time into him. And now what? Now, I know people are going to get upset when I say this, but the Clemson folks that they're the section of people that are behind Brad Brownell, they'll tell you, Clemson's been to the basketball tournament 13 times in their entire history of basketball. And Brad Brownell's got 3 of those times under his belt. Yeah, but he's been there the longest. I mean, if you stay somewhere the longest, that's generally what's going to happen. Anyway, we'll take calls on that. Do you think that Alabama is your preseason? If you were filling out your bracket today, is that who you would go with? They've got Kansas at number 12. Yeah, North Carolina is at number 15. By the way, they hired Hubert Davis. That's a great hire for them. Virginia's at 16. Kentucky's at 17. I still think Maryland's an ACC school, so I almost mentioned them. Illinois is at 21, not buying it. Texas is at 23. Southern Cal's at 25. They like Loyola Chicago, Virginia Tech, West Virginia, Wichita State, Georgia Tech, I mentioned. Lots of other teams right here in the mix, including Ole Miss. Not Clemson, though. Not Clemson. 803-978-1832. And what's going to happen with South Carolina? As they've got guys that are transferring in and out. The Gamecocks did pick up a transfer over the weekend. A young man transferring in from Murray State. Almost went to college at Murray State. Stepped out and lived up there and in Murray and almost went to college there. Then changed my mind. But the Racers have a great basketball program. Popeye Jones is from Murray State. I think he was voted one of the least best-looking players in the league, but he can get you 20 rebounds. He played for the Mavericks. Not very many people got to see him play. Anyway, the Gamecocks have got that going for them, but got all these guys talking about testing the NBA draft waters. Someone that's going to have to hit the transfer portal probably more than once is Frank Martin. Kingslayer's right. Ja Morant went to Murray State, and he was outstanding there. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to call. If you'd like to join us here on The Rundown, right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Quick comment from Huffer Billy. He says it's disappointing. DW4 should have never put himself in those situations. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. More of The Rundown when we come back right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400.
Scorpion women's tackle football team is recruiting for some gridiron girls. Do you have what it takes to join the team for the 2021-2022 season? If you're 18 or older, come show the pros what you're made of and join the nonprofit organization that's part of the Women's Football Alliance League. For tryout information or
I did not see Mania. That's crazy. I got to bring that up. Thank you. I can call you Nick, right? Or is that, I don't know what the next, I don't want to abuse your name and your mama get mad at me. I was doing some high school baseball games, and we had this team from up north, and they had a lot of names that were just really hard to pronounce, and I was butchering these names, right? And their moms were beating me up on Twitter, man. My son's name is pronounced, and then pronouncing it phonetically. I'm sitting here trying to fix that up and call play-by-play at the same time. What a mess that was. Oof. Their mom's all, I think they were all from New Jersey, this one school, and they were not happy. They were not happy at all.
Midlands is heating up, and whether it's for HVAC maintenance or mishaps, the people to call are On-Call Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Their professional experience.
Wow, this is a crazy story with Mania, man. Oof.
Keep your home or office comfortable. Trained technicians, not trained salespeople. Learn more at OnCallSC.com.
You know, I thought it was odd, and this is just me, someone who was supposedly, I don't know. I just always got the vibe from Deshaun Watson that he was just a good Christian kid and everything else. And then the stuff comes out on Mia Khalifa's page. I'm trying, Huffer Billy. I'm trying. Anyway, Mia Khalifa, the porn star's page. Maybe I'll put this out when we come back. We'll come back from the break here. Final segment of the rundown this afternoon here on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world in the iHeartRadio app. Big story here involving the South Carolina basketball program. It just happened like 20 minutes ago. Shout out to Nick for letting me know about this online, because I can't really do research while I'm talking to you. But we were just talking about the Gamecocks and who they're going to have back. Well, Justin Minaya is not going to be back. He's declared for the NBA draft and entered his name into the transfer portal. He announced on Instagram. Played 4 seasons for Frank Martin's Gamecocks, averaged about 7.5 points, 5.5 rebounds for his career, started 19 games this season, and led the team with about 6.5 rebounds per game. So with that, you've got Justin Minaya gone. I haven't heard about AJ Lawson yet. Jermaine Cousinard is supposedly, doing the NBA draft thing, dipping his foot in just to see what they're going to tell him. Yeah, South Carolina basketball program right now. There's still people out there that want Frank Martin to go away, and I don't quite get that, because I still think, he took him to the Final Four, and I don't think he forgot how to coach. I think COVID got him twice, and he deserves at least another year to try to figure some stuff out. Frank Martin didn't forget how to coach. Let's make sure we understand that. And if you don't believe me and think that the players can't rally behind him, just go and look at the list of players when they heard through the internet and everything else and their buddies and all that about, okay, maybe Frank Martin this, or maybe moving on, whatever. What was it Mike Uva said from Watch Fox, that the university was looking for someone to scoop up, a coach that took him to the Final Four? Yeah. The players were so behind him. And they just, I think, PJ Dozier said he was upset about what was happening with his coach. He said, my coach. The love and affection for Frank Martin from his former players cannot be questioned, in my opinion. The guys that have stayed there and have gotten, and it is tough love, because he doesn't put up with any crap. But those who've stayed there, they've become better men, and they'll tell you that. They'll become absolutely better people. By the way, for folks that have missed, I've got the full comments from Ashley Solis, the lady who made the accusations. Jane Doe number 1 was what she was referred to as at first. All of that is up on the Fox Sports Radio 1400 website. Go to my blog page. Just go to foxsportsradio1400.com, keyword Rob up top, and you should see it as soon as you get there. It has all of her comments there with what she said today. So we'll have to check up on that if you've missed it. Which, by the way, you can listen to the full comments too if you want on the podcast. Podcast is up. However you get your favorite podcast. Apple, the iHeartRadio app is the best way for podcasts, by the way. Download the iHeartRadio app. Every podcast you could possibly want is right there. Also, one other thing, don't forget the $1,000 cash contest, getting you ready for summer. Go. It starts on next Monday. 12 chances to win $1,000. Win your share of $12,000 every weekday starting next Monday right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. My final thing today is about the Deshaun Watson stuff. And I wanted to throw this out there. The vibe that we got from Watson while he was at Clemson, you had all the stuff where Watson is doing everything that, he was a man among boys, okay, as far as his ability on the field. But his character was never in question at Clemson. It never was. He was a guy that he led the team, was loved by Dabo Swinney. Dabo Swinney said he thinks of him like a son. I think one of the things that was kind of a little off for me was, I think it was like his rookie year. The porn star Mia Khalifa put something on her Instagram about her and Deshaun Watson together. And there's a picture of her and Deshaun Watson together. And I always thought Deshaun Watson was literally a choir boy. That's just the vibe that I got from him from Clemson. And seeing him hanging out with a porn star, not that porn stars are bad, I just didn't think that's an area that we would see Deshaun Watson in. And I'm not saying that teeters into what's happened now. I'm just saying that sometimes people can shock you a little bit. Because I never would have thought that from Deshaun Watson, to be honest with you. So there's that. Tomorrow on the program, we'll talk a little bit more about the Masters. I wrote up this great stuff about the Masters, and I didn't get to it today because I had to rush and get this story up about Deshaun Watson. But we'll do Masters picks tomorrow. By the way, I am off on Thursday and Friday. My kids are on spring break. I'm going to hang out with them a little bit. I'll be on Twitter, though, putting some stuff out there. I may set up my my TV out on the patio and watch some of the Masters outside because it's so nice outside. But anyway, we've got that for you this week. I will be off after tomorrow, so be sure to check that out. Check out who's going to be in for me. I think Colin Coward's going to be on. They'll do an extra hour of Colin Coward while I'm out. But we'll definitely have that there. Podcast will be up here shortly, too, by the way. Some of the comments from online. Nick says, all I know is that I never would have imagined anything like this ever happening to Watson. He just seems so genuine and humble, but you never know what's going on in anyone's mind. Can't judge a book, right? Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, sir. Jerome being off the top, Macho Man Randy Savage. I will not read that comment. I will highlight it. And if you're watching the live stream on the Fox Sports Radio 1400 page, you can bask in the glow of Jerome's comment. That is definitely Macho Man Randy Savage in honor of WrestleMania, by the way. Man. Oh, one other note too. I forgot this from the other day. Apparently, and I checked on this. I think Will Muschamp retweeted that Georgia won over South Carolina the other night in baseball. And then what happened? The Gamecocks ended up winning the series. He should just stop. It's just funny, but you shouldn't tweet out scores when you're playing at a place where you formerly are from. Not a good move, Will Muschamp. Not a good move. And in his mind, he was probably thinking, yay, Georgia won. Man, look, you got what, $15 million from the university. Why don't you just take, we'll just say a nice round number, 100 grand. And I'll do all of your tweeting for you. Enough where you can stay in people's feeds without looking stupid. You can afford it, Will Muschamp. I'm offering my services to you, sir. Offering my services to you, sir. I don't know how people tweet out such dumb stuff. We didn't get into the Paul Pierce thing. Really quick on that. He's getting fired from ESPN because apparently he went live on Instagram at a strip club. Okay. Why would you go live on Instagram from a strip club? That makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. By the way, don't forget, Lawton Swan from Clemson Sports Talk is next. He is the czar of Clemson Sports.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
Yes, you can follow him on Twitter at Clemson Sports. He'll have all great information for you. Whether you're a Clemson fan, South Carolina fan, it just says Clemson on the marquee because he loves where he went to school. It's really a great sports talk show, and it can help you out on your ride home and keep you from committing road rage. Be sure to check out Clemson Sports Talk right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400 and around the world in the iHeartRadio app with my buddy Lawton Swan. My name is Rob Sanders. I will be back at it tomorrow. Blog page is foxsportsradio1400.com. I'm on Twitter at Rob Soundsgood. Podcast up by 5 o'clock. We'll see you tomorrow. Hey, you guys over there rock, man. I appreciate all of you guys, man. We come every day at 3 o'clock. Would love to have you be a part of the community over here where we talk about everything. So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much.